Show you a quick tutorial on how to put dreadlocks in a synthetic wig. So this is the silver white wig that I'm going to demonstrate on. I chose this wig because it has two different lengths. It has the short bang here in the front, and then the rest of the wefts are pretty long. So I can kind of show you, well, I can show you two different ways to go about installing your dreads. So first I'm going to show you how to install your dreads on the short hair. So with the short hair, typically, of course, you want your dreads to be long. So you're going to need to get braiding hair. And I have here, it's a jumbo braid that I bought. It comes like this, folded over in whatever color you wanna pick. This is just some that I happen to have over from when I was practicing. And it comes rubber band down at the bottom, so you want to take your scissors, you want to snip this right where it's parted in the middle. And these may make a mess, especially the cheaper the hair is, the more frays you're going to get flying about and such. So flip it over, hold this pretty tightly, and then there you have your braid. So after you have the braiding hair situated, this is Kanekalon braiding hair, by the way. I like to take sections of it, so you just kind of fold it in half like this, hold it in the center, and then just gather clumps of hair. When you're satisfied with the thickness of it, make sure all clumps from then on are the same thickness, and then just kind of have a chair or stool or some type of rack next to you, and you're going to want to lay these sections on there. It's just going to make it easier, and you're less likely to drop your whole clump of braiding. Okay, so the first thing you should do when you get ready to actually install the hair is figure out what direction you want your hair to lay. So if you wanted, let's say, a center part, then you're going to want to center part it already. Clamp the side that you're not going to work on down, and then start braiding from there. So here, since I want it to go outward, I want that center part, I'm going to take the hair from here, the center, and then I'm going to start braiding it this way towards me. So that braid, once I let it go, it will lay down in this direction. So when you start braiding, you're actually going to do kind of like a loop and hook kind of technique to get the braid to stay. It might take you a few times. I'm by no means a pro at it. I just kept doing it until the braid was actually, the braid I was braiding onto this piece of hair was actually secure. So you just kind of take your piece you want to start with here. Then I'm going to loop this one over the back of it. I'm going to come around like that, so it's made a nice little loop, and then I kind of twist it and come under, and then I start braiding with the white piece that's on there. Now, those of you who actually braid, yeah, you're probably thinking, what the crap am I doing? I'm doing this wrong, but this is the only way I know how to do it right now until I get more practice. So once you get almost to the end of your little weft pieces here, then I kind of use this excess, just section it off. So you should have 3, so you might need to use just a little bit of hair into this one, a little bit of hair into this one with the white, and then leave a good little amount for that center piece. So you see it kind of sections off into 3 like this, and then you just continue braiding. If you have a little gap like this right here between the scalp and the weft of the wig, don't worry about that, because when you go ahead and wrap it in your yarn, it's going to cover that up. You don't really have to worry about that. Now, when you get to the end, I'm not going to go that far since this is only a demo. When you get to your end here, let's say I only want it to be about this long, where my finger is right here. I'm going to take carefully take a lighter, just carefully take a lighter, and then you're going to burn that. You're going to burn those ends. So. You kind of roll it a little bit. Now, of course, this is synthetic hair, so it's just basically plastic. Be careful. And move very quickly when you do it. And that's it. If you have little frays, little flyaways, just take your scissors and just snip them off. Just be careful you don't actually cut your braid here. You're just kind of bouncing them. Let's see. Just kind of bouncing it along the braid and trimming those little flyaways. And the reason you do that is so you can get a neater dread, so you don't have all these little bits and pieces poking out of in between the yarn. So what I like to do is actually do a good section of braids before I actually go ahead and start wrapping it with the yarn. You can do it however you want. You can braid it and then wrap it, but I find it to be more tedious to sit there and do one braid and then wrap it and then do the next braid and then wrap it. I'd rather just do a series of braids and then a series of wraps, and it seems to go smoother for me that way. So now that I have this, I'm going to wrap it with my yarn. I have 3 little segments here. I measured them about my arm's length, with my arm stretched out to my longest finger to about right here, my sternum. And then I just have 3 strands like that. So you're just gonna take your braid, you're going to go about 1 inch or 2 down, lay that along the braid just like that, so it's laying the same direction as the braid. And then you're going to start wrapping it around. So I like to press down with my thumb right where I want to start wrapping it. So just kind of, just like that. And then just toss it around there. Now when you do this, you're going to need to do it very tightly. And make sure you overlap. Because if you let this stay loose, then it's just going to unravel and just slide off. Or you could have bits of this, like, you know, gross hair right here showing through your dreads, and you don't want that. So just keep wrapping it, making sure these 3 strands stay flat. They don't clump up or curl up or anything like that. They just stay flat against themselves, and you just keep wrapping your hair around. And now you guys see why I say this is tedious, because imagine putting in 100 of these. It may take you several hours or days, like it did me, just off and on. So I wrapped to the end of the braid here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of the little strands of yarn and put them to one side, take the other one and just kind of, you know, wrap it around and knot those 2 together. Okay. So there, it's just knotted within itself, and then just do one more just for good measure. So you kind of have like this little ball right here. You're just going to get really close and just trim off the excess yarn, toss that, and then very carefully you're going to take your lighter and you're just going to burn the ends here. This does not smell good, by the way, just so you know. And be very, very, very careful with sealing the ends of it like that. Now, over time doing this, of course, your fingers are going to get very tired, so make sure you take breaks and whatnot. With burning the tips, you can use something like a pot holder or a couple layers of socks, like you put a sock in a sock and then just kind of use it like a little mitt, and then you can just rub the ends like that together. Alright, and there you have the first dread. And you see how I said before, get your part here right and how you want this to come out, because when you get done, then of course it's going to lay out just like that. So if I did it straight back, then it would want to go back. If I did it to the side, it would want to go to that side. Front to the front. So now I'll show you how to do the dreads with just the actual long wig itself. So you don't have to add any more wefts into it or braiding hair onto this hair. You're just going to take thicker sections of the hair you already have here, and then you're just going to braid it just like you would your own hair or your friend's hair. So let's start. Okay, so here's my braid all done here. Now I'm going to take the yarn, the 3 pieces again, put them flat together, go about 2 or so inches down, lay those flat pieces of yarn against the braid that you want to wrap, just like that, and then just start wrapping it. Make sure you secure it down with your thumb and forefinger. Just start wrapping it around. Okay, now I'm at the end here. So remember, you're just going to use these 3 little strands to knot it against the braid. So take 2 on one side, take 1 on the other side, and just make a normal knot. So there's my knot again. I'm going to cut off the excess. If your knot's too loose, then just make it a little tighter. So grab your lighter, go ahead, burn the ends, and just roll it in the pot holder. Just keep doing that until you have your whole wig covered. And that's pretty much it on how to do dreadlocks. Now to remove dreadlocks. Say you aren't happy with a couple of them, they got messed up and you just want to redo them, just go ahead and clip the end just a little bit, just enough to get off that burnt part, and just unravel it. There you go, then you have that hair again. Now a couple things to keep in mind with dreadlock wigs, they are heavy. If you need to dye them, it can be difficult. I got my ends a little bit red. You can't really see it that much on the video, but when photos are taken in flash or outside, you can see that there's a gradient to it. I had to use acrylic paint. I'll do another video on that, but so don't do it right now. Just wait till that video. But you can get different colors with the tips and whatnot. The reason why it's so difficult is because a lot of the yarn, especially the cheaper yarn, is acrylic, and it doesn't necessarily take ink very well because this is synthetic fiber. Natural fibers, if you were able to get like a wool or straight up cotton kind of thing, then it would bleach and be able to take dye. Well, acrylic doesn't typically do that. And that concludes how to dread a wig for cosplay. Some of you may notice that this is my mink wig from Dramatical Murder. I absolutely love him and the series. If you don't, that's okay. I really don't care. But for real, on a serious note, guys, if you have any questions or concerns, comments, anything, just go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. You can also find me on Facebook on my fan page at Joan and K Cosplay. I'm also on Tumblr and Instagram and Twitter as well. But you can find all that information again on my fan page, and that's Joan and K Cosplay. See ya!